Lucid has a lot of good and bad things going on after their earnings report was announced. So is the stock a buy? Sit tight as we answer that by going through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. Good news first, Lucid has reported a Q3 production of 2.28k vehicles, which is 3 times more than the Q2 numbers. The Q3 revenue stood at $195.5 million with 1398 vehicles delivered, and their annual production numbers are projected to be 6 to 7,000 vehicles. The company has $3.85 billion in liquid wealth, and they expect this fund to be used for operational expenses going into 2023. Demand for Lucid vehicles stands strong at 34,000 reservations, which can convert into $3.2 billion worth of sales. And another update is that CFO Sherry House said that they plan to open the Project Gravity SUV's reservations in early 2023. This will expose the car maker to a new market and, of course, more customers. For the bad news, Lucid has missed its earnings target, which analysts had set to be a loss of 31 cents per share, but the reported loss was 40 cents per share, and the revenue fell short by $8.5 million from its target of $204 million. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for Lucid, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get in the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can see that we're down already by what I guess is about 7 or 8%. Yep, about 8.5% from a price of $13.5 to a price of $12.3 pretty much. We were already, before this, we were at the price of $12.5 and we've already fallen the pre-market itself down to a price of $12.28, which is already like a 20-cent fall, I guess, right? This happened thanks to this, or rather due to this earnings report, which of course we can see that the earnings reported a 27% negative surprise, and the revenue reported is almost a 6.7% negative surprise. This, of course, is a bad sign considering the fact that the stock, of course, was in a bearish trend for a long time. But now, if we look over here, we're pretty much back to the levels that we were already at when the stock had initially just started, right? We're very close to the levels of $9.8, $9.7, which were the initial levels of the stock. So what do I believe? Will the stock crash further? In my opinion, well, we should probably crash a bit today at least, because of course this was a very bad earnings report, considering that both the earnings and revenue were in the reds, right? So we should probably crash today, but tomorrow we might see a recovery after we hit a support, I believe probably around $12, right? Today we might hit the support at $12 as well. What really matters is if we break it, well, it would be a hard way up. But if we don't, we might just take support and end the day off around $12.5, right? Because we're already down by almost, what was it? I guess 8.5%, right? Excuse me if I'm wrong, but I guess it was 8.5%. So with that, is the Lucid stock a buy? Now, here are a few things to consider, right? Of course, they are improving themselves fundamentally. They did record better delivery numbers than the Q2. That was like twice the the delivery numbers of the second quarter, and the production numbers, of course, were thrice of those of the second quarter, right? So that's of course a good thing. But considering the fact that the stock has fallen below from a price of $67 over here, right, around $65 that is, to a price of pretty much just $12.28, is it, in itself a very concerning thing. But as we all know that the EV sector in general has been very volatile, and smaller companies like Rivian, Neo, Lucid, and all of the, and MULN even for that matter, have all fallen from their all-time highs by a lot. But does this mean they're worthless? Definitely not, right? Lucid, for example, it has good volume. It can be used as a great trading tool if you know how to use it. Because, of course, good volume and good volatility is an intraday trader's dream, right? If you know how to trade the market and read the market, you can make a lot of money in the intraday market. But the thing is, this stock, I wouldn't say it's the best for positional, right? If you want to trade positional, this stock, I probably would avoid it, right? If it gets under the level of $12, I personally would buy in a bit, right? Hold it for the long term, even if it gets to like $20, even if it gets a recovery to somewhere around 17, $18, that's still a great return, right? Under $12, that would probably mean a 50% growth, right? So even if it happens in a year or 2 years, that still beats the market average and it's good growth. And even after beating inflation, you would probably have around a 1% monthly growth left. And that is great, of course. With that being said, I don't believe there's much left to analyze in the 1 day chart. So let's jump on into the 1 hour chart so we can get a bit more clarity on what's going on. In the 1 hour chart, we can see a lot more clearly what exactly is going on, and we can see that we have some support and resistance levels over here as well. We have a resistance around 13.25. We have another resistance around 14.3. We had another, somewhat of a support around 13.6. 13.5 would have been a support as well, I believe. Yup. And out of that, of course, you can see that we did have another level around 12.5, which is, of course, already beaten, right? We'll get into the extended trading sessions as well in a moment, but we'll have to get into the 5-minute chart for that, so let's wait. And of course, we can see that we did get another level around $12.9, and we did bottom kind of around 11.87. So this indicates that we've already breached under the $12 zone, and we might as well breach under it today too, right? So we might breach under that level today as well. So is it a bad sign? Not exactly, right? If you're a bull, it's a good sign technically for you that you get to, buy more shares, because of course, one day when the market recovers, any stock would catch on and recover along with it, because these stocks are not necessarily fundamentally weak, right? They're just like, I wouldn't even say that they're in the wrong hands, but I guess that they're just at the wrong place on the wrong time and at the right at with the wrong products. I wouldn't say the wrong products exactly, but it's just not the time for these products and this company to go up. Of course, in a recession period as well, we all know that the company does suffer financially, right? So of course we'll have to see how it uses up its cash in 2023, and if that is positive, of course it would move the stock up and it might even double from its current price. But as I already told you, if we want to analyze the extended trading hours, that is the pre-market, we'll have to jump into the 5-minute chart, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can see both the aftermarket of 8th November's trading session and the pre-market of 9th. And of course, we can see that over here, this was when the earnings report came out. And ever since then, well, as you guys can see, the stock crashed really hard in the aftermarket, going to a price of $11.5. So what does this indicate? Well, in my opinion, it indicates that we might be breaching this new territory around the $11 zone. And if you ask me, the entire market in general, now this is nothing specific to the Lucid stock, the entire market has just not hit the bottom, right? I already told this about the Tesla stock when it fell under 197. I had already predicted that it will go down to 182, and yet people were bashing me for saying that, you know, I'm and they were saying that I'm basically spreading FUD about the stock, which of course is not true, right? I'm here to give you guys my honest analysis on what I believe is going up and what I believe is going down. And as you guys can see, Tesla did go down over here. Well, Tesla 191, we can see that it went down, and 182 is the next level. But we're not talking about Tesla right now. We're talking about Lucid. So what's next for Lucid? Is it a buy? I personally would look for intraday trades at the moment and get, a 1%, 2% trade, somewhat like that, or even, use a bit of margin to get like 5x margin and get some small trades like 0.3%, 0.5%, probably that stuff. But I'm not looking for any holding stuff with Lucid, because in my opinion, of course, if you ask me, Lucid is a risky bet, but it's of course not as risky as MULN. But I personally have a big risk appetite, so I would rather go for something like MULN than Lucid, right? Because of course, Lucid does not have the same potential to go up, because if we look at its market cap, well, why would it go up? We can see that we have a market cap of $22 billion. So how high can you go, right? It's not like it can 100x from over here. It would be the most valued company in the world, right? That's not how it works. But whereas MULN and other small cap EV stocks have a much lower, what do you call it, market capitalization. So that might give you better chances at getting a good return. Now, if we come back to Lucid, we can clearly see that we're up in the pre-market and we're getting some buying volume. This might be the case, right? We might get back over here, probably first get resisted at 12.5, then 13, 12.8 would be a resistance as well. Then we might fall because this day, of course, it's not exactly going to be green. It would definitely end in the red, right? There is no reason for the stock to go up. We just got the worst earnings report that we could get. So with that, the stock goes into a probably a moderate hold to buy in my rating book. But with that, always remember that I could be wrong. So this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.